Don't piss her off.
If you got to do 50-50, that means you're half of a man.
You're a hermaphrodite.
I wish I had a man the other day.
There's a reason why they're not there.
Because both of us got punished for when the sin came in the world.
Type shit.
The women supposed to be birthing children and go through pain and go through menstrual bleeding. You can't handle that.
We can't?
And a man's job was to work from sun up to sundown.
Lord, doesn't the Bible say something like, shut up, woman? I don't know. Don't piss her off.
If you got to do 50-50, that means you're half of a man.
You're a hermaphrodite.
I wish I had a man the other day.
There's a reason why they're not there.
Because both of us got punished for when the sin came in the world.
Type shit.
The women supposed to be birthing children and go through pain and go through menstrual bleeding. You can't handle that.
We can't?
And a man's job was to work from sun up to sundown.
Lord, doesn't...
To Sirach 25 and 24, it says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, honor, and power that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone, those who rule well and I learned this truth from. Salutation to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth in all sincerity and diligence, risking both your lives and freedoms to do so. And shalom to the rest of the elect as we all await the second Exodus coming quickly by the hands of Lord Yahweh Shah. This is your brother Kakabar, and boy, oh boy. All right, we got another out of order black demon bitch ultimately berating men. All right, talking about if the Bible don't support a 50-50 relationship or whatever, which, I mean, in all honesty, the Lord created, you women to be a helpmeet, all right, to a man. All right, if I'm giving 100%, you give 100%, and that's just what it is, man. All right, but whole time, all right, she up there with, pants on, okay, and the scriptures clearly say a woman is not supposed to wear that which pertained to a man, all right, nor is she supposed to be teaching, especially not teaching other men, okay, and you got niggas over there on the drums or whatever hitting the notes like she just made a solid point, man, but, this is the reason why the Lord said, I suffer not a woman to teach, because they're bringing that 50-50 madness into the church. And I guess this is a church. I don't know what it is, but, whatever little congregation that shit is. But they're bringing that whole 50-50 bullshit, hating men shit, misandry into the church, man. All right. And whole time, scriptures support women working and supporting their husbands, man. Scriptures support that. All right. A working woman, when you read Proverbs 31, it goes into a woman who ultimately supports the agenda, the enterprise, or if you will, that the man has, man. And that's a righteous woman. You deal with Rebecca when she gathered the water for the servants and the camels. Okay, that's how Isaac knew she was the one. Okay, when you deal with Ruth, all right, when she worked in Boaz's field, when she gleaned the crops, after the reapers went through, she constantly done that, and hey, that's she ended up being chosen by Boaz, man. Like this whole, 50-50, you're not a man if you, woo the whole time, man. Even through the scriptures, it shows women working and supporting, their man. So that's just ultimately that whole 50-50 argument shit is just a bunch of emotional rhetoric, man, a bunch of bullshit. Okay. Cause I mean, if you got it to where, a man is a king or something. All right. Then yeah, he'll have concubines. All right. He may have some concubines that just sit around and, dance for him and shit, sing for him. All right, whatever the case may be. But I mean, for the most part, man, it ain't nothing wrong with you women working too, and that's the reason why the Lord, matter of fact, that's why the Lord created woman Genesis 2:18, it says, and the Lord Yahweh said, or the Lord Power said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. See? So you was created to be a helpmeet, man. You know, when you, like I mentioned, Ruth, Rebecca, Kay, etc., they were helpmeets, you know, ultimately being a servant, man. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that role, but you know, you modern black bitches are being so fucking polluted by feminism and women's liberation. And it's funny because I also seen this statistic by the CDC. Black women and moles are the highest with HIV amongst the black community, man. Guess who's the lowest? So-called black men. You know, Jake. Why is it that you black women are the highest? Because your ass is out of order, man. You a bunch of harlots. You know, you out of order just because you can work a job, you can be independent, you can get a degree, you can get a PhD. Now you think you're on a level with a man. So now if he not making as much money as you, or whatever the case may be, now he's not a full man. When the whole time it was set up for your ass for you to get certain incentives for this shit to be in your favor anyways, man. Not only are you a minority for being so-called black, but your ass also a woman on top of that, you know? And when you go into the Willie Lynch letters, all right, they designed it for you women to be out the household, to fuck up the family structure of the so-called the black family. But y'all don't know that shit, man. You know, instead of this bitch teaching her children, you know, and raising them up with that understanding of who the enemy is and what's been done to our nation, she rather get on this fucking pulpit, whatever the hell you want to call that, and tell you what it is and what it ain't to be a man. You see that shit, man? And then she said, oh, I wish it was more men in here. What the fuck about to sit in there and listen to that shit, man? A bunch of beta male simps. Ain't nobody going for that shit, man. You know? But that's why the Lord said, hey, he suffered not a woman to teach. 1 Timothy 2:12, man. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Because these women can't teach the scriptures properly, man. They'll get, you know, say some things about polygyny or whatever the case may be. They'll get all emotional and butthurt and choked out and start twisting scriptures up, man. Like this woman, you know. And whole time, like I said, like scripture said, through woman sin entered into the world, and through her we all die, man. Okay? Because y'all are easily deceived, man. You're the weaker vessel for a reason. Whether you like it or not, a lot of y'all, you know, want to be men secretly. That's why y'all have a problem with everything. But, hey, man, well, hey, take that up with the Heavenly Father. You know, you sitting there, you know, bringing this whole 50-50 argument into the church. You know, it just shows you, man, these people are through, man. All right. This is, matter of fact, I got that definition for berate because that's really what she's just doing. All right. She's just berating black men. It says berate is to scold or criticize someone angrily. You know, to scold or criticize someone angrily. And that's what Kevin Samuels mentioned. You know, these black women can never take accountability or get in order. So all they can do is use tactics such as shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. They'll shame you, insult you, you know. Oh, you're half of a man because, you know, you only make $40,000 a year and I make $70,000 a year. Okay, bitch. Like, listen, man, life is more than how much money you make. That's what you people so soon forget. You know, in reality, this bitch need to get her health in check, man. You know, hop on the treadmill, go work out, go lift weights, eat the right food. These be the same bitches eating abominations and seafood boils and shrimp, crab and lobster, right? You need a man to help your ass, direct your ass on what you should and shouldn't eat. You gonna fuck around and become a beluga whale, man. You know, now you hoes is out here independent, taking the trash out by yourself, right? Looking over your shoulders 10 o'clock at night when you're trying to go and get into your apartment. You know, it just goes to show you, man, like a lot of you women are being brainwashed, man, because you got a lot of traditional women on here, You know, that they love their lives. You know, Sarah called Abraham Lord. You know, when a woman is in her true role, she actually enjoys it. She loves it. She loves serving a man that she loves serving a man. You know, her man. Okay? All right? Because a lot of you females, you know, you want to wait till a man get to the finish line before you start dealing, and yet you don't want to be with that man along his journey of getting to that point when it takes time to and experience to gain resources and things in his life, man. Well, then why the hell would he let you be with him when he makes it? See, you don't fucking deserve that. All right? But, you know, a real woman is going to stick with their man through thick and thin and ultimately assist him and help him out on that journey, man. Now, if it's a bum, you know, a nigga that ain't got shit going, you know, he ain't trying to put in work, you know, he can't keep his job, he's lazy, because, you know, you got a lot of them niggas out there too, don't get me wrong. All right, then, hey, that's on you. You know, you are the lead that nigga, or, you know, y'all figure it out. But you got men out here that's trying that a lot of you bitches want to look past just because X, Y, and Z. And that shit ain't right, man. All right. This is Proverbs 31. In 10, it says, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. And let me say this is why a lot of Jakes go to the snow bunnies, man. And be like, if it ain't snowing, I ain't going, because a lot of those white women, they can see the potential in Jake. I'm gonna just put it like that. And I'm not even just saying like a Jake that's in sports or whatnot, or gotta be well known. Nah, man, a lot of these heathen, especially the so-called white women, you know, they'll stick it out with you, man. They'll learn to do your hair. You know, they'll do these things because they know the value in us being men. All right. They see that Jake is masculine, man. That's why they don't even that's why a lot of white women don't even deal with white men, you know, Edomites, you know, because it's just something different about us, man. You know, and you know, you ain't got to be the richest Jake or whatever. You just got to be a man of, you know, masculine energy and whatnot, and, you know, got your head on straight. They'll work with you, man. And then you Keishas, y'all get all butthurt when y'all turn on the TV and you see a Jake, you know, a superstar or you know, an NFL player or some shit with a white woman. Hey, well, I bet you she was with his ass. I bet you she was with him through thick and thin, man. You know, and even if she wasn't, hey, well, shit, it's better than putting up with this shit. You know. But Salaki, it says Proverbs 31 and 11, the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. Okay? Because you know, she tried to use the whole, you know, work sun up to sundown. Like, okay, bitch, there's women, you know, throughout the scriptures that worked, that put in work, man. Like, that's not even a solid point to try to make. You know, it says she is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. See? So she's doing what needs to be done to make sure the house and you know, in that relationship, you know, is everything is running smoothly, man. That's becoming of a real woman. All right. And she's a helpmeet, man. See? So that's really the point, you know. A man and woman going 100%, both. All right. And I know, you know, just because, you know, I make, or, you know, you women think because if you make more money or whatever, now you can not do as much woo. And really that's all Esau, man. This devil did that shit on purpose. You know, it's by design, but, you know, that shit is off, man. But anyways, you know, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Bashim Kakadash. DTA Wa Baba Ball. Shalom.